In this week's episode, firstly we're going to continue on with what happened to the GT3, the snap rear shock. It's a fault we've not seen before and is an interesting fault to see what happened there. We're then going to move on to Ryan and Nick's 987 Gen 2 Cayman, which is a fast road / track car. So we're going to walk you through all the spec of the car and what we've done to prep it. We're then going to move on to the dreaded PADM fault, which some of you may know about if you've been in that situation of a huge bill. We've got a solution for a fraction of the price and you'll never get the fault again. And then lastly is going to be fixing the bargain Boxster where James and Henry broke the clutch. In today we are going to get on with the brightly coloured yellow GT3, get the rear shocks replaced. It's quite an interesting one to why the shock has snapped at less than 20,000 miles. I'll start with the yellow 991 GT3, which had snapped a rear shock. So we provisionally already ordered in 2 rear shocks and 2 nuts, but upon stripping the yellow GT3 yesterday, we've come across what I think, in my opinion, is why the shock has failed. And I've got the top mount in my hand, so I'll show you what's happened. You have the top mount. That's the bit that snapped. But effectively, that's the top mount, the foam insert with a washer inside, and then the shock bolt at the top. And this whole section, the spring and the shock come down here, but this whole section gets bolted into the chassis of the car, like so. And that's what keeps. That's the shock, basically the lock-in point. Now, between this top mount and the chassis is this foam insert with a metal washer. Now, if you look on that back side, it looks pretty good. The lower side, when you turn it over, you can kind of see this area. This 25% of that area is deformed. It's the same here. When you look at it like that, when you turn around this side, looks pretty good. Start getting onto here and the foam is just given way and deformed. Same when you look on top. All this bit, you can put your nail in that. It's solid structure of foam. When you get to this bit, I can push through and I can feel the metal and the foam is effectively just given way. Now, this, I believe, is the part that's caused the shock to fail and snap. What's happened is, instead of this foam keeping all the parts parallel to each other, this foam's given way and it's effectively caused the shock, not this top bit, shock's not in line with this top bit, so the shock's been straight like that and this foam bit has been at an angle, and that's why it's put the shock stanchion under tension and it's broke away, which is all fine. We'll put 2 new shocks on it. We'll just order all these bits from Porsche. Simple as that. It's not ideal, but we'll get the car repaired and fixed and back on the road. You ring Porsche, you can get all the parts apart from this donut, which is on back order for 3 weeks. So again, we then have to go back to the customer, say, look, there's nothing we can do. We can't even get these parts from Porsche. We can't put this back on the car because it's just going to snap another shock. And there's nowhere really else that's going to make these kind of parts, not OEM anyway. And we don't want to go down the aftermarket route because he wants to keep the car as original as possible. So we end up with the ramp being tied up now for 2-3 weeks. The option we've got is either we put the car back together just so we can roll it around the workshop and push it onto a stacker or push it under a stacker, or we leave it on the ramp. It does get frustrating because this, like I said, this is one thing that does happen all the time. The car next to it, which is a blue 997 Carrera S, very similar story, had an AC fault. We've found the rear pipes over the engine, AC pipes are leaking. Where it clips onto the chassis, the moisture and corrosion and dirt is slowly eating away through the aluminium pipes. Again, something you'd think that 2 aluminium pipes for a 2007 Carrera S would be on the shelf and readily available, or they'd have stock in Germany. Yet again, on back order for 5 to 6 weeks. Now, we've already taken the car apart, diagnosed what the problem is, and then we found other issues. So we'd already knew one pipe was leaking, which we'd already ordered up. But on removal of the gearbox, we found the other pipe next to it. It wasn't leaking, but there was a very thin point in the joint. So there's no point putting that car back together doing one pipe and not the other, which is the pipe we're waiting on. Again, it's another phone call to the customer, and it's another 5-6 weeks to have out their car. So it does get quite frustrating. And there's also a blue 996 turbo, which we waited for almost 2 years for a second gear and synchro set. Again, that job held us up for a very long time. And also with Porsche, what they do is they say, oh, it's going to be a month until the back order's complete. Month forward, it's another month, another month, another month. And you keep chasing it, and then suddenly you realise you're 8-9 months down the line, and really they've strung you along a bit. Another car we've got in today, which I'm going to be working on, is Nick and Ryan's 987 Gen 2 Cayman. We've done quite a lot of work on this car to make it into like a fast road track car. I'll walk you through what we've done. So, to begin with, Ryan and Nick, who've become good friends, go to a lot of track days together. They originally came in because they purchased the car and it needed an MOT. So we had it on the ramp just to have a quick inspection, and we found an oil leak, which we thought was just the sump pan seal, which is very common on the 9A1 engines. So we said, look, we'll fix the oil leak and we'll get it in for MOT. Unfortunately, that is where the story starts, because when we took the sump off, there was part of a timing chain guide, plastic, that had snapped off, and it was in the bottom of the sump. So we did carry out a full engine rebuild on this car. So that was quite a rare occurrence on these Caymans with that engine choice. But yeah, for some reason, don't know if it got hot or like been abused to track days, or just a bit of failure, like plastic had failed. But did rebuild the engine standard spec with new pistons, new set of rods, and new timing chain kit and guides. So that was that. But then since then, we've carried out a lot of track enhancements to make it like a fast road / track car. So you can just turn up on a track day, go around all day, drive the car back, no issues. So I'll get the car up on the ramp and we'll walk through all the modifications we've done to the car. I'll start off with the obvious things you can see. So we have the 2-forged wheel set and the Yokohama 808 RS tyre. Over the standard wheel and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, this per corner was about just over a kilo saving on rotating mass. So a nice upgrade to speed up the acceleration coming out of corners and just get rid of some rolling mass on the corners. So yeah, that was a first modification. Braking wise, we've got Sebro just slotted discs. You see in there, fairly new. We did find the normal drill discs got, no matter what manufacturer you use, they warp quite easily. So these Sebro discs, non-drilled, seem to hold up better. And then pad-wise, we're running an EBC RP1 pad, front and rear, along with a set of braided lines, which we can see in there. New braided line there. Braided lines front and rear with Motul 660. And the other addition, we added the GT3 front ducts, and then we added some rear ducts on as well from another Porsche model. And that's the brakes covered. They last all day, every day. The cooling of the car, we've added, so here, when you look at the front of the Cayman, you've got one radiator here, one radiator here, and in front of the radiators you've got the AC rads left and right. But you can add in, which is a Porsche factory fit, is the centre radiator, which if you look through there now, it's a centre radiator package, and you basically take out a bung of that radiator, a bung off that radiator, you fit this in, put the two connecting pipes in, and you end up with a 3 radiator package, which does help quite a lot with the cooling, especially when the car's on track getting very hot. So that's what we added to the cooling. We have also upgraded the exhaust. One of the things on their list was to get the car sounding better. We all know the Caymans do sound a little bit muffled, and they don't, in my opinion, they don't sound like a Porsche should at a factory. So yeah, we have got the Miltech resonated system with the black ceramic tips, which really goes with the black combination and the grey wheels of the car. Lovely bit of etching from Miltech there. So I'll get the car up in the ramp and I'll show you the sports headers we've put on this car as well. That's the 200 racing caps we have on there. Just helps the flow to get all the exhaust gases out of the engine, improve performance. But yeah, much more beefier, bigger tubes than the standard factory ones. Just aids flow, gets the exhaust gases out. Combined with the Miltech, this car sounds really good. So along with the exhaust, we put in a BMC air filter, and then just one of our custom tunes to maximise the performance out of the engine and make sure it's running perfectly. And it's also calibrated to 99 fuel, so that's what the cars always run on. Suspension, we have standard arms, but all refreshed and new. The car's done 80,000 miles and they had seen better days. So we've just refreshed it with standard suspension. We added on the semi-solid gearbox mounts, just stiffen up the rear of the chassis, help hold that together. And we've added in the Bilstein B16 coilovers, which I'll get a video of the front as well. So yeah, it's a better view. Better. You can see them there. Added them on there to improve the ride quality and the turn-in on track. All the rubbers, so top mounts, stock top mounts, lower arms, tuning forks, all stock to keep it compliant on the road. But we have the adjustability of the Bilstein front and rear to stiffen it up on track. That's a rundown on all the spec and everything we've done to the car, along with when we've done the suspension, we did a fast road alignment just to utilise everything we could on the car with the coilovers and the stock mounting points. Got as much camber on the front end and just set it up so it's good on the road and good on the track. It's like a happy balance between the both without going too crazy. The reason why it's on the ramp today is Ryan and Nick / track day they realised they had a CV joint that was leaking grease from the rear left, which I'm looking at now. So I'll spin the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It has made a right mess in there. So that's our job today. We will get this rear brace off, disconnect that anti-roll bar, fold that out of the way, and basically drop this drive shaft out underneath and see what the fault is there. Clean all the grease up and get them ready for the next track day, which hopefully you'll see soon, because I think near the end of September we're all going to do a track day together. Yeah, stay tuned. Welcome back, and I'll run you through what we've got booked in today. We've got a couple of interesting jobs actually, so I'll turn you around and I'll walk you through this 981 Cayman, which came in 2-3 weeks ago. Gave a customer a quote, booked him back in, but he has the dreaded PADM service requirement on the dash. So I'll show you the fault that comes up on the dash and what we're going to do about it. Very common fault. We actually done one of these on Saturday morning. Didn't video it because the customer travelled 3 hours here because no other specialist locally could do it. But we have, basically our solution on this is to the PADM fault, which is to do with the gearbox or engine mounts, which is an electronic mount. So when you press the Sports Plus button, it basically stiffens up the engine mount. Now, if you're a racing driver, you may notice that, but majority of people on the road, even on track, you're not really going to notice that much. I'm sure it does improve lap times by a margin if you're, like I said, a racing driver, but 90% of people aren't going to notice. And these mounts are stupidly expensive. Just for one mount is £900 plus VAT. Then you've got the fitting. So you price up 2 of them, you know, it's £2,000 in mounts, a little bit of fitting time plus VAT. So it's an expensive job on any car. It's great if you've got warranty, because they are covered under Porsche warranty. But a lot of these cars now, as they are getting older and they are coming out of warranty, it's a big bill for a customer to swallow for effectively a electronic short in the mount. So we fix this by retrofitting the standard original mounts, which I've got one down here. So we will fit this mount, which would be on any normal Cayman 911, which didn't have the electronic mounts. And then we've got a solution to do all the coding, so it will be completely standard, and we just code out the gearbox or engine mounts, and that solves the issue. So you're never going to have this fault again. To change both the mounts with coding and our fitting is £700 plus VAT, so it's less than buying one mount alone. And we always see it, if one mount fails, within 6 months to a year, the other mount fails. So suddenly you get like two £1,200 bills to sort the issue out. Again, we've seen customers that have had Porsche warranty. One of our customers had this issue. He had both the mounts replaced by Porsche main dealer, and 2.5 years later, one of them failed again. Now he was devastated because the car had come out of warranty by that point, and he was then faced with another £1,200 bill, or we do our engine mount or gearbox mount solution. He did opt for that because he was worried that if he bought another mount and then just say another 6 months down the line the other one failed, he's suddenly into another, like I said, £2,500 worth of spend on the car, when realistically fitting the non-electronic mounts isn't going to make a blind bit of difference to 90% of the customers. So that's my job for this morning, is to fit those two gearbox mounts, do all the coding and adapt all the values in the car and get that back to the customer. Do a walk round as well of what everyone else is up to. Spin it around. Oh, Adam's up the ladder. Adam is fitting the coolant pipe. This was the car I spoke about yesterday up in my office, that we had the yellow 991 GT3 with a snap shock, which that part's on back order. We've had this 997, which was an AC pipe that was on back order for 4 or 5 weeks. Again, both these cars have kind of just killed the ramps. So you can see Adam, there are the two new AC pipes coming down there. We'll get both them in, and then we'll get the gearbox back in the car. We've got Sammy over in the corner servicing the tow rig. He's just completed major service, brake fluid. It was overdue a little bit, wasn't it? It was a bit worse for wear. We'll you can see the parts over in the bin there, but yeah, on inspection of apparently it was only serviced 3,000–4,000 miles ago. I don't think it was. I think it was just stamped in the book. So yeah, just giving that a bit of love. Make sure it's reliable for towing the car, because we have got another track day in the 996 Turbo, which is a Porsche only day at Donington. So we're looking forward to that. I'll run upstairs. I've got quite a few cars in at the minute. I'll do a quick rundown. So this 991 is in for turbo failure, which we spoke about. The warranty company's just paid out. So Paul's dropped that off. The blue Panamera, the first one on the right, is in for an inlet valve. I think the diaphragms broke up in the inlet, so we're looking into that. The second silver Panamera is in for a minor service. The 997 Turbo over the back is a sales car. We've then got the Panamera, which has got a knock on the suspension. One waiting to collect the 987 Boxster. The 996 is a sales car, and then we've got the 981 sales car out there as well. So yeah, busy day today, and we've got various collections going in and out. Some of you may recognise the car in the background. It's the car Henry and James purchased.
We bought the beast.
And they drove it home.
In the old tunnel. Yay!
Went to drive it down to, well, up to Bristol from Plymouth. And unfortunately, it seems like the clutch has failed.
It's not gone well. Fuck.
Today we're going to carry out a full inspection of the car to see any work that needs doing before we sell the car, and also we're going to get the gearbox out, inspect the clutch and see what's failed. We're pretty sure the clutch has failed and delaminated from the plate, but let's see if we're right. I have got a clutch kit here, I have got an IMS bearing kit here as well. You'd be silly not to change the IMS bearing while you got the clutch and flywheel out. Obviously, if the IMS bearing has been changed, it'd be a big bonus and we won't need to do that. But I've got all these bits here just so if we need them, we can get the job done. So to begin with, I'm going to go around the car, do a full inspection and see whether it was a good buy and whether Henry can actually buy a car with little to no experience. So I'll walk you through the inspection we'll carry out. So start with the tyres. Goodyear Eagle F1s. They look in really good shape. Doesn't seem to be any cuts or anything in them, so they're all good. On the front we got some Michelin Pilot Sports, no sorry, Primacy 3s. Again, they look fairly new with loads of tread on. Same both sides. Checking the front. The shocks do look a little bit corroded. We're gonna advise changing them. So yeah, we'll change them before the car sells. So I've had a good look over the car. All the tyres are in really good condition with 6mm plus tread on. The brake lines are all in really good condition, no rust on them. The car does look like it has been stored in a garage for a couple of reasons. All the brake lines are really good, and a telltale sign of a car that has been left outside are the manifold bolts. Now I took a little video of the manifold bolts and you can see there they're in really good condition and the heads are actually still in one piece. A lot of the time we see on, when they get to this age and on the older cars, the heads just disintegrate. So if you have got to change the manifolds, which a lot of you may know about, they snap and then you have to get the jig out and drill into the cylinder head. On this car, like I said, they all look in really good condition, and it all tallies up with the MOT history. This car, I think, had over its whole MOT history, had very little advisories. I think it was tyres and a headlight bulb. There was no oil leaks, no brake lines advised, nothing like that. And that was another reason why we purchased the car, because the MOT and the service history just stacked up really well. Now, the couple of items we do need to do before we sell this car are the front discs are a little bit delaminating on the front and they're not running 100% on the inner face. So we're going to put a new set of discs and pads on. The front shocks are quite heavily corroded. I did expect this because in the service history and all the paperwork we've got with the car, there's no signs of the front shocks ever being replaced. And at this year and mileage, we would expect them to be done, or they're heavily corroded like they are on the car. So we're going to replace them with a set of Bilstein shocks. We're going to do the top mounts as well and the bump stops, because the bump stops have just fallen apart and they're no longer doing their job. So yeah, that's the plan of action, to do all those jobs, do the clutch, IMS bearing, and then we can get this car sold. We've actually already sold this car. Ian rang us the day before Henry was meant to be driving the car down. And he said to us, look, I'm in the market for a 986 Boxster. Do you have anything? I want something that's fairly low mileage, 60, 70, 80,000. I don't want something 100,000 plus. And I said, yeah, Ian, we've got this car coming into stock tomorrow. I'll give it a quick inspection and I'll give you a call. Now, I didn't call Ian back because obviously the car had broken down, and I got it over the weekend, and it was only on Tuesday where Ian rang me back up and said, oh, Martin, I didn't hear from you. What's the deal with the car? And I just said, look, Ian, I'm just being honest with you. The clutch seems to have failed on it. We are going to put a new clutch in it with an IMS bearing. If it's still of interest to you, come down and look at the car, leave a deposit. You know we're a Porsche specialist. We'll get the car to a really high standard, and you're going to buy a car that you know has been checked by a Porsche specialist. So Ian come down, looked over the condition of the car, and he just said, yeah, look, I've looked at a couple now. This one looks really good. If you're going to do the mechanical work underneath, I'll leave a deposit, give you a couple of weeks, get the car sorted, and I'll pick it up. So we're on a bit of a timeline to get this car done in about a week and a half. So yeah, we need to crack on with it and get these jobs done and get it back on the road so Ian can have his Boxster for summer. I've put the roof in service position, removed the rear carpet behind the seats and the metal engine cover. I've placed the engine lockout pin in there for the crank, and then the timing tool for the cams, which is on the driver's side. Took the green caps off, put the timing pin in there, so the engine's all timed up now, and I can remove the IMS bearing when I got the gearbox out.
And my love for you. And my love for you. And my love for you. And my love for you.
So straight away, I can see that it's got the original Porsche logo on, and it's made by AP as well, which was the original clutch manufacturers. And all you can see here is clutch material. So safe to say the clutch is just decided to give up the ghost. I'll get this clutch plate off, the pressure plate, get this off, and let's see what state the clutch is in. But yeah, you can see it, it's all in, all around there, all around the top, bottom of the bell housing. It's just giving up the ghost. And let's see what it looks like. Stuck on this pin here. Yeah, just gone pull it off. Just give it a bit of a wiggle. Nice one, Sammy. Just let it drop out. As I expected, the flywheel side's okay, but the pressure plate side is obviously just worn down to the rivets, and the material was come away from the riveted area. You can see some of these are are loose. So yeah, so we had no clutch, delamination of the clutch plate. Does look like someone's been in there though, because they've red marker pen, which I don't think is factory. These bolts look fairly new, so maybe someone's done an IMS seal or possibly an IMS bearing. But we'll get the flywheel off and we'll have a closer look.
And my love for you. And my love for you. And my love for you.
We've now completed all the work on the 986 Boxster to fix that, so it's all ready now to go off to the customer. I'm sure Ian is going to enjoy the 986 Boxster. It was what he was after and it's such a nice car. Admittedly, the clutch failing, nobody could have saw that coming, but he should be over the moon with this car. And us doing the IMS, brand new clutch, rear main seal, there's a lot of preventative maintenance in there, which you probably would have found hard to buy another Boxster with the similar work that's been done. So that's the end of this episode and our week at Porsche Mode. Do let us know in the comments any suggestions you want to see in the content or anything Porsche related that you've got questions or queries and you'd go, yeah, can you address maybe one of these issues as a common issue? Just let us know in the comments and like, comment and subscribe and we'll see you next week.